You have been waiting for evidence before you would let yourself believe, and that is the reason nothing has moved. You look at your life and you wait for it to give you a reason, some sign, some proof that the thing you want is possible. And only then, you tell yourself, only then will you believe it. But that is backwards, and tonight I am going to show you that it has always been backwards, with a story about a poor man on a small island who owned a great building years before a single fact agreed with him. There is a phrase I want to put in your mind and leave there. You are always believing ahead of your evidence, always. Everything you now call real was believed in before it was seen, and the thing you want is waiting on the other side of that same act. Let me tell you about my father, because I knew this story from the inside. It is the story of my own family. To be born poor is hard anywhere, but to be born poor and white on a small island like Barbados, where a poor white man was behind the 8 ball from his first breath, that was my father, and his first job in the city paid 5 shillings a week, call it a little over $1, and he lived 10 miles out in the country with no transportation, so he walked it. 10 miles in before 6 in the morning, and 10 miles home when the store closed, 6 days a week, for his 5 shillings. And on the main street of that city stood a great building, a whole block of it, a department store called C.F. Harrison and Company, owned for nearly 100 years by an English family who lived across the ocean and never once came to see it. My father passed it twice a day on those long, tired walks, and some nights, when he was beastly tired, to comfort himself, he played a little game. He believed that he owned it. Now understand how absurd that was. He was as far from owning that building as I am from owning the White House. Further, because the law itself forbade it, and he knew it, and he did it anyway. Not as a plan, not as a strategy, simply because believing he owned it eased the 10 miles home. He would walk in the belief that the great store on the main street was his. Hold that picture, because I want you to notice what he was doing and what he was not doing. He was not standing in front of that building wishing he had it. He was not calculating how a poor man might one day acquire it. He had no such calculation. There was none to be had. He was not constructing some careful ladder of steps from where he stood to where he wanted to be. He simply occupied it. In his imagination, he was already the owner, walking home as a man who owned the store he had just passed. And then he let it go and lived his life. And here is where almost everyone fails, so let this land. The great mistake, the one nearly everyone makes in this art of believing, is that you keep building the thing and you never move in. You are forever building and never living there. You think of the thing you want. You think of it and think of it. You turn it over and admire it and long for it. But you never once move in. You never go inside and live from it and look out at the world through it. And so it never takes root. It never comes alive. It stays forever a thing you are thinking of instead of a place you are thinking from. That is the whole difference. Thinking of or thinking from. My father was not thinking of that building. He was thinking from it. He had moved in. Now watch what the years did, because a vision keeps its own appointed hour, and you cannot rush it, and you need not. He played that game in the 1890s. Then he married and raised 10 children and worked, and in 1919 he was eased out of a small grocery partnership by 5 men who wanted it for themselves. Put out with 10 children and no schooling and nowhere to turn. And with borrowed money he started a little grocery store of his own, because that was all he knew. Decades passed. The man who believed he owned the great building was now an old grocer standing in the door of his own small shop, across the street from the thing he had once, long ago, believed was his. And in 1942, a man passed by and said, "Mr. Joe, what are you looking at?" And my father said, "That building, I have always liked it." And the man said, "Would you like to own it?" Do you feel how quietly it comes? not with trumpets, not with a sign in the sky announcing that the imaginal act of a tired young man half a century before was now coming due. Just a neighbor's ordinary question on an ordinary afternoon. Would you like to own it? The old English owner, 92 years old now, wanted to sell, but not for the greatest profit. He wanted it to go to a good local family who had worked hard and proven themselves, a family with the island's interest at heart. He had written a letter naming exactly that. And of all the families on that island, the letter found its way to the Goddards. My father read it, and he said, "Let us go straight to the bank. I have no money, but I will take it." He borrowed what he could not explain. The war was on, and he could tell no one why he needed it. And the bankers said, "This is the most unusual request, but we have dealt with the Goddards for 20 years, and we will say yes." 3 months later, the cable came back across a sea full of submarines. Accept Goddard's offer, and it was done. That building today, modernized, every square foot of it working, I do not think anyone could buy it for $8 million, and it is not for sale, because the business is too good. All of it resting on a tired young man who 50 years before had nothing in this world to support the claim, and believed it in anyway. So here is what I am asking you to see, and it is the only thing I am asking you to see tonight. You do not wait for the evidence and then believe. You believe, and the evidence follows. That is the order. That has always been the order. Robert Frost said, "Our founding fathers did not believe in the future. They believed it in." And he said, the most creative thing in a man is to believe a thing in, to believe it in, to take the thing that is not yet and hold it as though it were, until the world has no choice but to catch up to what you have already accepted. And believing it in is not straining. Hear that, because you have been straining. There is no strain in real belief, none. A man who believes he owns the building does not grip the wheel of his mind and force it. He simply rests in the quiet fact of it. Faith is nothing more than staying true to a thing you cannot yet see. You stay faithful to it, the way my father stayed faithful, without effort, for 50 years, not even trying, just quietly certain on the walk home. So tonight, do not construct, occupy. Choose the thing you want, and do not stand outside it wishing, and do not build the staircase of how it might arrive. Go inside it, move in, occupy it the way you occupy your own home. Look out at your life from inside the thing already yours. Carry on your ordinary day as the one who already has it. And then, like my father on the long road home, let it go and live. You are always believing ahead of your evidence. You have never once done it any other way. Everything you now hold was first a thing you believed in before it was there to see. So believe this one in, move in, and stay, and let the world do what it did for a poor man on a small island, who owned the great building on the main street long before anyone handed him the key. Believe it in.